Scrolling rating at that. Movie wants to be lazy but expects you to work. What kind of lives were these assholes living to be separately bitten by a bat and a wolf and then become leaders of two different races? Movie consulted James Cameron before choosing its fonts. Also, in case you confused it with 1202 BC, which we totally would have done.
My God. Brother, what have you done?
Discount Thor and Loki. Oh dear, here comes action, which in the Underworld realm means I'm not going to understand anything due to rapid editing, murky and jerky cinematography, and characters that all pretty much look the same. Werewolves! Blindsiding! Stunt guys! Underworld 2, ancient battles you don't care about. Movie wastes time on a werewolf transformation just so random vampire guy can cut his head off. I don't think any of these people in the background are doing jack shit. And I swear 2 vampires are fighting each other somewhere in here.
Retreat to the woods! I will stay and fight!
And all the somethings were defeated by the something elses. Is this a werewolf or is this an orc? I am beginning to think it doesn't matter. Honestly, how does the director himself even understand what's going on here? It's like someone telling you a story like this. And then there was a werewolf and all these chains, and I think it was that guy's brother. Anyways, some things happened. I can't remember all of it, but damn, it was exciting.
He was not to be harmed!
How the f did you expect that to happen? The motherfucker is a werewolf. Do you have tranquilizers? Chloroform?
From you.
Couldn't you just have given us all that information in the scrolling red text? I mean, if you're gonna bother with scrolling text to set the stage, why do you also need a 9-minute opening action scene to set the stage? That's like having your cake and beating a dead horse with it too.
For 6 centuries, I was a loyal soldier of the vampire clan.
Previously on Underworld. Also, someone said, you remember in the first movie how it was hard to see a damn thing? Let's chop it all up and make it more out of focus.
Neither vampire nor lichen, but a hybrid.
Did you write this script for us or to remind yourself? So far, Underworld evolution is slower than actual evolution.
My only hope now is to awaken Marcus and expose the truth, before Craven tries to murder him while he's still in hibernation.
Honestly, we're already in I don't give a f territory. What is everyone fighting for again? To hold dominion over all this darkness, lack of humor, and nearly complete lack of sex? It's like having a war over my first girlfriend. Movie does not come with instructions on how to date Kate Beckinsale. In the vampire world, she's a wanted criminal, but sure, they still haven't removed her thumbprint or key code for high security areas.
Perfect.
What does it matter if the lights come on or not? Aren't you creatures of the night? Haven't you been spending hundreds of years in darkness exactly like this? The hell you need a flashlight for? Jump scare makes me jump sad.
Someone could have picked us up already.
Especially since you used the thumbprint to enter.
I'm going alone.
You can stay here at the safe house I just said we couldn't stay at for very long. Well, at least this isn't taking forever. What, is the floor made of drywall or something? Shooting is hard. First movie's villain, total bitch.
Okay, so Celine said they needed to prevent Craven from killing Marcus. Looks like that job is done. Movie over, right? Someone just died, so birds must scatter cliché.
Michael, you're unique. There's never been a hybrid before.
Yeah, why is that? In 800 f***ing years? Not one? This movie came out in 2006. Do you have any idea what kind of power they'd need for all this gear? Not to mention that it's all apparently operating on a wireless system on a boat in the ocean. Or what, vampires have their own satellites? This boat and its swanky Jack Bauer war room. Oh man, they dragged poor Tony and Emmy Award-winning Derek Jacobi into this, didn't they?
Show me what you have.
Yes, sir.
What I have, sir, is a Sony product placement opportunity disguised as a bit of exposition.
We need to go.
Doesn't Marcus need to drink the blood of Celine to figure out exactly what happened in this room? Dude just walks in and suddenly he's the guy from the Dead Zone. Okay, so how does this stupid thing work? Let me consult Craven's blood and matrix that shit into my brain, because I'm sure he has strong memories of typing in his blood. Next stop, drink the blood of Mavis Beacon so I can type even faster. Thankfully for Marcus, vampires somehow have a photographic memory of the people who they bite's lives. Even details those people themselves would surely have forgotten, or not bother to remember in the first place.
Hey, it's the Jeeper Creeper. See, this is why you don't leave lichen vampire hybrids in a safe house you know will be tracked. You learn this stuff in kindergarten. Meanwhile, maybe Celine could only barely make it to the mansion by dawn because she was planning on walking there. Marcus took a very specific route to the safe house that flew him directly over Celine. Regular food will make you sick. Don't you remember Celine saying that, or do you just not care? Or are you bound by a ridiculous screenplay full of bullshit? Dumbass. Coincidence News just happens to be on and just happens to report on Michael as he has werewolf spasms in the tavern. Next news story, food poisoning scare at whatever this tavern is called.
Hello!
Ah, I see this impossible boat command center is also somehow monitoring every phone call made in the world.
Get the f*** away from me!
How have they not started shooting yet? I mean, I know they'll have terrible aim and he's probably immune to bullets, but what are they waiting for? Mirror helps Michael to stay a good guy and not eat this police officer. This mirror is like the best friend who knows the real you is inside the monster somewhere. Discount Trinity. No, seriously, just roll with it. He missed, trust us.
Here, take it. No. Michael, you'll die.
What the hell good is the first ever vampire-lichen hybrid if he can't take some bullets and keep moving? I'm starting to think Michael is the bull mastiff of this movie's genetic experimentation. They were going for brutal warrior, but ended up with wussy love bunny. Blood drinking is sexual for vampires, but not the audience cliche. 2 bird scatters in 30 minutes of movie? These assholes need to form a union. Convenient escape truck just happens to be moseying along a country road for vampires to steal it. Immortal boxing. Also, Michael, a brand new wolf-vampire hybrid, will now hold his own against Marcus, one of the 2 ancient vampires this series has told us is basically unstoppable. Okay. Old truck driving down a lonely road with a flying demon creature attacking the guy and girl inside? Character design isn't the only thing this movie stole from Jeepers Creepers. Flying demon immortal vampire is so shaken up by the bump that he slumps on the road forever and lets these assholes get away. He didn't die? Inconceivable. Oh wait, he's a vampire. That's actually pretty conceivable. So why did Celine and Michael act like they did something positive? Why does the movie actually let them get away?
The sun not only burns vampires, but also the gloves they wear. Performance art. Concerned non-medical exam turned sexy cliche. Theirs was a forbidden romance. I mean, their kids would be 1/4 werewolf and 3/4 vampire. Man, they're gonna have some fucked up kids. My God, I'm taking 3 sins off here and not explaining why to any of the idiots in the audience. This is a rated R action film about vampires, but it goes all PG on the sexy scenes because, well, honestly, because the star is married to the director. In other words, reasons. We can't show you the sexiest bits of this scene because the director wanted to keep that shit for himself and for Diet Coke commercials. Yeah, you better cover up. You never know who's watching when you're in an abandoned warehouse in the middle of the country. Character suddenly recalls long dormant memories pertaining to the plot cliche.
I don't know, but I know someone that might. Andreas Tanis.
Celine waits until she gets dressed and they're ready to go before telling Michael who the hell she meant by someone.
He was the official historian of the Covens.
Covens hire historians?
He was exiled over 300 years ago.
What makes you think we're gonna find him now?
I was the one who exiled him.
Exile means to ban someone from one's own home country. It does not mean that person is banned from going anywhere else. The second lichen is coming to the battle late because even werewolves attack one by one. You know, even if I have werewolves chained downstairs, I am not leaving an open stairway for them to access the rest of the house. You know, because of precautions and shit.
I knew it was you, Celine. The stench of Victor's blood still lingers in your veins.
Also, I saw you on the security monitor before you walked in.
You don't scare me, Celine.
Well, we're gonna have to work on that.
On cue, and consistent with the movie's convenience factor, Michael comes crashing through right after Celine says this. Also, where did Michael come from? How did he get from the wolf dungeon to a room with no exits and a boarded up window? We clearly saw Celine go up some nice steps earlier from basically the same place. And when he crashes through, it looks like there's fog from the outside coming in. What the f***ity fuck?
Marcus was after this. Why?
You threw it to him instead of just calmly showing it to him. Why? Also, why would you toss this to a bad guy? Good God, there are always flocks of birds ready to be disturbed whenever this guy goes anywhere. Also, what is the point of this fucking scene? He drank the horse's blood? Poor horses! Now we really know Marcus is evil. This scene serves as a post-it note to remind us Marcus is still out there.
And in return, Victor was to use his army turned immortal to help him.
To do what?
I don't know, Celine. If you let him finish, maybe he'll tell you.
Then captured William and locked him away.
Why let him live?
For the very same reason that Victor never conspired against Marcus. Fear.
This discussion will proceed to go back and forth talking about Marcus and William in such a manner that it's nearly impossible to keep track of. Right after Celine figures out that William was protected because Victor thought killing him would wipe out the lichen slaves, Tanis says,
And so Marcus was protected at all costs.
protecting Marcus has nothing to do with protecting William in this scenario, but the screenplay thinks it does.
It's William's prison. The prison your father was commissioned to build.
What? Why were regular humans commissioned to build a prison for a werewolf?
Why is Marcus looking for him now? After all this time.
That I cannot answer, but I do know someone.
The guy they went to see for answers knows nothing except the name of the next guy they can go to for answers. What is this, a Transformers sequel? These Vampire Bite downloads tell Marcus everything pertinent to his quest and shows it to him in the same camera angles as the movie itself.
You know the devastation William caused before he was captured. He cannot be set free.
I've got a Marcus, a Victor, a Craven, a Lucian, this Alexander Corvinus guy, and a fucking William. And they speak of all these fucking dicks with the same hushed awe to the point where I literally have no fucking clue what's going on. Marcus, who is somewhere high, somehow knew that he could poke his extendo wing through the window and stab something, anything, and knew that Michael was wearing the pendant. Also, after his wing finds purchase, he says, "Fuck it, we'll let gravity decide what happens to Michael." Celine has an extremely valuable vantage point here and could easily empty her gun into Marcus now, but decides to jump down and be stupid instead. Random asshole just happens to have died on a deck near a spot where the helpless Celine can pick up a gun. What? An entire magazine of bullets from the automatic weapon didn't faze this asshole or stop him from trying to kill Celine, but now that a handgun is involved, he's incapacitated and has to go fly off and lick his wounds? How come vampire blood is medicine, but this guy who is half vampire needs vampire blood medicine to live? Doesn't he already have vampire blood in him? The movie may have answered this question, I'll be honest, but hell if I'm going back through this piece of shit again to find it. I have no clue why Marcus decided to go through the other part of the ship when there are now 2 gaping holes leading straight to the room Alexander is in.
Did he get the pendant?
Yes.
No, he didn't. He lost it. Right here. He gets shot and loses it and never recovers it. Also, this movie has just become super confusing again. Apparently there aren't 2 keys. One is a pendant that Alexander took from Victor's body. The second is a smaller pendant that we saw Lucian wearing in the first movie that Michael took. Tanis said there were 2 keys, but he didn't say he needed both. Corpse rubbing. 10 seconds of staring. Immortal explodes in a ship, but he's immortal, so explosions can kill immortals? I'm beginning to think that word has lost its meaning. MacGuffin item is MacGuffin. Underworld 2, Book of Secrets.
Head back around towards the river.
I don't know about you guys, but I remember the exact directions of everywhere I went when I was 6 years old. And much like Celine, I'd remember after hundreds and hundreds of years. And the original vampires were basically just Rube Goldberg fans.
Which way?
Oh, fuck you.
We're too late.
Well, you were too late when you left the docks, right? I mean, Marcus flew off and you knew where he was going, so this should be no surprise at all.
Impressive.
Impressive, cliche. Why are bullets so suddenly effective against this guy? Why hasn't this guy changed into a super powerful Jeepers Creepers form yet? Why am I still watching this movie? Random bullshit rocks stop the wall from closing all the way because if we made it this far, we'll accept anything. We have no idea what Michael's true strength and power is as the first hybrid. We have no idea what Celine's new true strength and power is after sucking old dude's blood. And we never really had a firm grasp on Marcus and William's true strength and power either, so this shit is all meaningless. These could have been used earlier like always, especially since you knew bullets weren't going to kill him anyway. Damn, how many dudes did they bring on this tiny helicopter? Spinning propellers serve to remind us that someone's going to get chopped up Raiders of the Lost Ark style. Ah, so that's what the old man's blood did. It turned her into Blade. Awesome. How will we get back home? F if I know. We're surrounded by water and mountains. Damn, we're going to have to do a lot of f***ing to figure this one out. And that was the end of the Underworld series.
An unknown chapter lies ahead.
Damn it.
All that is certain is that darkness is still ahead. But for now, for the first time, I look into the light with new hope.
Nothing is certain. Darkness is all I see. This makes me hopeful. It sounds like the screenwriter just wanted to end this thing on a positive note, even if it didn't make sense.
Imprisonment for all time. Far from you.
Huge thanks to our pal Matthew Santoro for guest narrating on this Sins video. Please check out his channel where he makes awesome list videos, including today's video, where he talks about the 10 most cursed movies of all time. And to Matt, thank you very much, buddy.
I regret nothing!
Look, nobody's saying they don't appreciate what Jenny did.
Well, if all I had to do was cut a hole in a bag, I could have cut it better than this. What about you, Robert?
They taste like burning.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers?
At the key to William's cell.
And I'm the map.
I'm the map! I'm the map! I'm the map! I'm the map!
Burn the bodies. Search the outbuilding. Prune the hedges.
Happy 80s.
one of those nostalgia places, but not done very well. Go in and order a Pepsi. Here's a 50. Then wait for a guy named Griff.
Right, Griff.
Right. Griff's gonna ask you about tonight. Are you in or out? Tell him you are out. Whatever he says, whatever happens, say no, you're not interested.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oswald was a fag.